quorum be dispensed with?
Without objection.
Well, Mr. President, we're in for a long, tedious, and exhausting night as Donald Trump is set to deliver his fourth State of the Union address. Donald Trump said yesterday he's going to talk for a very long time tonight. God help us. I'm not sure what he thinks there is to celebrate, because America, in short, is a mess, thanks to him. American presidents often talk about how they inherited a mess and turned things around. But in Donald Trump's case, he created a mess and then set the building on fire. High costs are still kicking Americans in the gut. Donald Trump's tariffs have unleashed chaos and confusion. ICE agents are patrolling our neighborhoods in masks like cartel thugs. Isn't that right, Senator Lee? Corruption is up, trust in America's down, and we still have no idea what's in the Epstein files. If I were a Republican sitting in the House chamber tonight, I'd be squirming in my seat, praying to heaven that the president wraps up things quickly, because the American people are sick of his drivel, and the stench of his unpopularity is spreading across the Republican Party like a toxin. Look, we know how tonight is going to work. Donald Trump will claim that everything in America is going great, but he's in a huge bubble. America is deeply unhappy with his leadership, and he will blame everyone else for all our country's troubles. He'll blame Biden, he'll blame the Supreme Court, he'll point the finger at everyone but himself. Tonight, the American people will see a president whose ego does not let him see reality. And what is that reality? I'll give you 3 words: cost, chaos, corruption. That's the reality of Trump 2.0. Costs, chaos, corruption. Democrats, of course, offer something different. This year, we're going to give the American people a choice to lower costs, to end the endless cycle of chaos, and to restore some sanity to our country. And as we speak, I'm continuing to work with my colleagues to demand Donald Trump and Republicans listen to the American people and stop ICE from terrorizing our communities. Democrats' position on Donald Trump's brutal ICE tactics haven't changed. Republicans need to work with Democrats to rein in ICE, to end the violence. I'm disappointed we have not to stop playing games. And finally, while none of us are excited about tonight's Trumpian endurance test, there are at least 2 things I look forward to tonight. First, I'm pleased to welcome 5 great New Yorkers as my guests for tonight's address, each of them here to put a real face on the consequences of the administration's chaos. First, we have Danny Bensky, a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein, and now a leading voice demanding transparency, accountability, and justice for survivors who were failed for far too long. Second, I'm pleased to welcome Reza Contreras, a mother whose son Dylan entered the U.S. legally but who was still detained by ICE. Dylan did everything right, followed the rules, showed up to his hearing, and was still arrested by ICE in the middle of the courthouse lobby, if you can believe that. And Reza is here tonight fighting to bring her child home. It's amazing that Americans have to come and do this. Third, we have Gerold Keogh, a union construction worker on the Gateway Tunnel project who lost his job thanks to President Trump's cruel decision to cut off funding to this project. Fourth, Alexandra Fernandez joins us, a Long Island iron worker whose offshore wind job has been thrown into limbo again and again because of Trump's irrational, stupid hatred of offshore wind. And finally, we have Ben Pearson, a Rochester small business owner who was forced to lay off more than a quarter of his workforce. Hardworking people. He liked to pay them. They did good work because of Donald Trump's tariffs. To each of my guests tonight, you make New York proud, and thank you for being here. Your presence is the reminder America needs of the real-life harm that Trump's agenda has done to our country. Finally, there's one more thing I'm looking forward to tonight. listening to my good friend, Senator Padilla, who will offer Democrats a Spanish-language response. In his story, what he's gone through in the past year after being assaulted by federal agents, and his larger story of how his family built something of themselves in this country is inspiring and admirable. I thank Senator Padilla. I thank Governor Spanberger as well, and thank all Democrats who will spend time tonight correcting the lies that will waft out of the House chamber from Donald Trump's mouth tonight.